Once upon a time in sunny Los Angeles, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson was driving his sleek, modern car to an important meeting. He was in a hurry, and the traffic on the road was crawling like a sleepy snail. People in their cars around him were honking and looking annoyed. There had been an accident up ahead, causing a massive traffic jam. Dwayne was checking his watch, his face getting more and more serious as the minutes ticked by. He needed to get to his meeting on time, but the cars were all jammed up, and he couldn't move an inch. Just when he thought things couldn't get worse, something unbelievable happened. As he reached for his phone to call his assistant and let them know he'd be late, his car seemed to go all wonky. It was like a roller coaster ride, but scarier. The engine roared, but it didn't sound right. Dwayne's heart was racing like a cheetah. Suddenly, he realized he was no longer stuck in traffic, and he wasn't in Los Angeles anymore. It was like he'd stepped into a time machine, and it had taken him somewhere completely different. Before him stretched a strange street with old, bumpy stones. There were carriages pulled by horses, and the street lamps were old-fashioned, not like the bright lights of his world. People walked around in clothes that looked like they were from 100 years ago. Dwayne's fancy car, all shiny and modern, looked totally out of place. Dwayne couldn't believe his eyes. He stepped out of the car and took a look around. There was a sign nearby that said, "Welcome to 1885. It hit him like a punch in the gut. He had somehow traveled back in time. The strange accident had taken him on a wild ride through history. At first, he was scared, like a little kid in a haunted house. But soon, his curiosity got the best of him. He remembered he was the Rock, and he could handle any challenge, even if it meant going back in time. So, he decided to make the best of this strange situation. He explored the streets of 1885, where there were no cars, just horse-drawn carriages. He had to use old maps, and when he asked for directions, he had to be careful not to give away that he was from the future. People in 1885 were amazed by the stranger who talked differently and acted so oddly. His interactions with them were sometimes funny, like a comedy show, and sometimes really heartwarming, like a warm hug. Dwayne learned to appreciate the simple life of 1885, where people actually talked face-to-face and not through screens. His days in 1885 were like an adventure every day. He tried their old-fashioned food, danced at town parties, and even learned to use a classic revolver, like a real cowboy. Every day brought new challenges and new things to learn. But he never forgot that he needed to find a way back to his own time. With the help of a friendly inventor he met, they started working on recreating the accident that had brought him here. They built strange machines, mixed weird potions, and had a lot of laughs along the way. As time passed, Dwayne became good friends with the inventor and his family. He realized that even though life in 1885 was tough, there was a kind of magic in it. People cared about each other and didn't rush around like they were in a race. The big day came when they finally recreated the accident. Dwayne felt a mix of happiness and sadness. He was happy because he'd made wonderful friends and experienced a world he'd never imagined. But he was sad because he had to leave it all behind. With a heavy heart, he stepped into the swirling thing that had brought him back to his time. Los Angeles's busy streets were back, and his shiny car, too, but he was different. He had seen the past, and it had changed him. He appreciated the present more than ever. As he continued his journey through life, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson carried the memories of his time travel adventure with him. It was a reminder that sometimes, when you're stuck in traffic, you might end up on the most amazing adventures. And maybe, just maybe, it's okay to slow down and enjoy the ride. I hope you find this story enjoyable. Please share this video and subscribe our channel for more interesting stories.